Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the one book I recommend everyone to read. Even just once in their life, they need to pick it up and read it, okay? So there's a lot of people out there who recommend reading this one, reading that book, reading this one, but I'll explain to you guys in a minute as to why I think. You can see the title right here. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, okay? This is what it looks like. So if you want to pick it up, this is what you'll get an idea of what it looks like, okay? Now, the reason why I think everyone should read this book is because it'll fix that problem that you might be facing where, you're working extremely hard, doing everything you can, but for some reason, nothing seems to budge, right? I can relate to that problem. I don't know if you can too. You feel like you're spinning your wheels, okay? You're working 12-hour days, and this is gonna apply to appointment setting too, because this is what my channel's kind of about. So appointment setting, sales, if you're one of those people, you need to read this included. So you feel like you're spinning your wheels, you're doing everything you can, but for some reason, just something feels like there's some sort of resistance. Like it just doesn't feel like you can break past through that plateau, okay? I think that's the best way to put it. So this is the book, and I'm rereading it for the third time too. Look, I've read it, this is my third time rereading it, and every single time I learned something new about it, because personally, I kind of went through a plateau too recently. Like I'll come clean. Last couple of weeks, I felt like I needed to come back to this one. So let's not waste any more time. These are going to be the 5 lessons I learned from this book so far, right? And it's not too long. All these 5 lessons are from one chapter only, or 1 or 2 chapters only, okay? That's how good it is, right? So I'm going to finish the book, and then I might come back to this, pick a part 2, stuff like that. And this is going to be quite a deep dive, quite woo-woo, but if you're up for that stuff, then stick around, okay? So the first lesson from Psycho-Cybernetics is this. So the first lesson is self-image. If you don't know what self-image is, it is something that Maxwell Maltz, the author himself, coined. It's a term that he coined, and it's in the name. So self-image being how you view yourself. And it's not just how you view yourself, it's how you view yourself in different aspects of life. So he was, and by the way, fun fact, this guy was an ex-plastic surgeon. So he knows all too well how the mind works and how the self-image works, because he'll be cutting people up, he'll be doing his plastic surgery. He's done thousands of those in his career, right? But he found 2 types of people. But for the first type of people would undergo a drastic change in their psychology, in their self-image. They come in very shy, reserved, insecure about something, maybe their nose, maybe their ears, doesn't matter. They go through the surgery, and then almost overnight, they acted like a completely different person, right? So why is that? It's because their self-image changed. The way they saw themselves completely changed as a result of the surgery. Now you get the other type of person where maybe they come in shy, reserved, also insecure. However, they go through the surgery, maybe they've gone through a drastic change too, and they're still the same person, right? They're still that shy, reserved, anxious, insecure person, even if they've fixed up their face cosmetically, right? Even if friends and family tell them they look extremely different and they look more attractive, they still think they're the same person. They almost like as if the surgery had never even happened in the first place. So why does that happen? It's because of their self-image, right? It doesn't matter what happens externally for these second group of people. Their self-image stayed the same the entire time. They still saw themselves as a shy, insecure, whatever person, right? So if the surgery can't fix their self-image, then what can it be, right? So that's something that you need to keep in mind. It's very important that you wrap your head around this. It's called a self-image, right? You're carrying one, I'm carrying one. There's certain beliefs I have about myself, certain things I believe I'm good at and I'm not so good at. And this is all part of the self-image. This is all how I view myself. It's not how my neighbor views me. It's not how my mom views me. It's how I view myself, okay? So keep that in mind, because this will carry on into the next few points. Now, the second thing is your mind can't tell the difference between imagination and reality, okay? Your mind can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. So let me explain here. Let's say you have a thought in mind. Is it recording? Yeah. Sorry, I'll do it for the next one.
Sneaky.
Sneaky. If you think of a friend, so try and think of a friend who always says something negative about themselves, like, oh, I'm such an introvert, I'm so shy, I can't talk to people. Or maybe they say, oh, I'm so ugly, stuff like that. And then you go and look at them and you say, no, you're not. You're not ugly. You're not introverted, you're not shy. You're actually pretty good with people. But they just keep telling themselves, oh, I'm so shy, I'm so ugly, stuff like that. Right? And I have to be careful too saying this because these I am statements, they carry weight, right? So you have that friend, they keep persisting in some sort of negative belief, they talk bad about themselves, but you just have to snap out of them. You just have to get them to snap out of it, but you just can't seem to, right? It's because their mind is caught between this imagination and reality dilemma, where their mind thinks this is all reality, this is all real, but it's just all in their head, right? And you look at them, you think they've gone mad, right? There's no reason for them to believe they're shy or unattractive. But, you know, you kind of go through the same thing too. You probably have certain beliefs that you persist in, that you keep telling yourselves. You tell yourself these stories and, you know, they may not even be real, right? But your mind thinks they are real. So therefore you act out. So what does this mean exactly? It essentially means you need to be extremely careful with what you tell yourself, especially when it comes to I am statements, so saying things, I am XYZ. You need to be extremely careful with that because your mind will not know the difference between what's real and what's fake. It only acts on what it believes to be true, right? It could be completely wrong. No one else thinks it. Again, goes back to the example of that one friend who keeps telling themselves they're ugly, when in reality they might be extremely attractive. Okay, so that's a perfect example. So I guess the bottom line here is just be extremely careful with what you tell yourself. The third thing is going to be, you can change. You know, you choose your destiny for the most part. I'm going to try bring this more back down to earth to appointment setting and sales, since that's what my channel is mainly about. But yeah, for number 3, you can change. Like, you choose your destiny for the most part. And I put for the most part because, and I don't want to get too deep into this, it links to another book, but yeah, your brain is malleable. You can change. So you can change. The saying that goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that's completely false. Like, maybe there is a degree of truth to it. Maybe if you're 47, it's a bit harder, but why would you believe in that? Like, if it doesn't serve you, why would you continue to believe in it? Okay, it doesn't make sense. So you can change, you choose your own destiny. Like, for you science nerds, if you Huberman types, if you want to study, you can go look up. There's plenty of studies that show that your mind is malleable and it forms new neural pathways, stuff like that, right? It does happen. It doesn't matter what age it is. It forms new neural pathways, right? And this is all what this book is about, essentially. So you can change, you can choose your own destiny. I don't care how introverted you think you are. I don't care how broke you think you are, or how bad you think at making money. I don't care how I don't know how many McDonald's that you eat and you think you're extremely unhealthy and you're out of shape. You can change to become extremely fit and athletic. You can change to become extremely wealthy and in abundance, have an abundance mindset. You can change to whoever you need to be and want to be, right? When I was still in secondary school, I used to be horribly shy, right? I don't want to say social anxiety because I think that's a stretch, right? But I was extremely shy, had basically very poor social skills, and at one point I thought it was going to be near impossible to break out of that shell, right? I thought I was stuck here forever. But not until I read this book and I went through the process of, you know, building myself up, stuff like that. Like, it took a couple years. Just went out, practiced, talked to more people, and just got more comfortable with speaking. Hence why, if you look back on my past YouTube videos, they're extremely shitty. But now, I'd say they're a bit better, because this is a skill and this is something that can be changed. And this wouldn't have happened if I didn't realize and I didn't internalize the fact and believe that I can change. I can change to be whoever I want to be, whoever I need to be, right? If I wanted to be a professional Muay Thai fighter, if I had to, in some alternate timeline, if I wasn't running a business, or let's say everything goes wrong, I just decide one day I have some sort of spiritual awakening, I do want to become a professional Muay Thai fighter, I can do that. Why? Because I know my mind is malleable, I know it can change, and I'll just take advantage of what's in this book and obviously train very consistently, stuff like that. But yeah, if I want to become a professional Muay Thai fighter and excel at it, then I can do that, right? It's gonna take a couple months to years, but it's a process. But you can change, right? Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how down bad you think you are. Okay, you can change. So number 4 is gonna be, so bear with me guys. So anything that is congruent, which means aligns or is the same or matches up, congruent is just another word for that. Anything that is congruent to your self-image will be acted upon, / anything that's incongruent to it will be rejected. So let me explain. If you see yourself right now as a 1 to 2K a month earner, if you just see yourself as the type of person who earns 1 to 2K a month and is comfortable there, and you may not even be conscious about it, it could just be subconscious at this point. Like if you really take a step back and you meditate on it, and you really just think, okay, how am I actually viewing myself? Do I see myself as a 30K a month earner, 60K a month earner, like, or do I just see myself as a 1 to 2K a month earner, right? If you see yourself that way, but your goal is 10K a month, then it's gonna be, like, I hate to break it to you guys, and this is why this book is so important, it's gonna be extremely difficult, or it's gonna be near impossible to hit 10K a month consistently. Why? Because your self-image, the way you see yourself, you're still seeing yourself as a 1 to 2K a month earner. So it doesn't matter how hard you work. So this is, number 4 is probably my favorite point, right? This is the reason why you're spinning your wheels. You could work as hard as you want. You can work 12-hour days. You could, for appointment setters, for example, you could be doing everything you can, doing as much outreach as you want. You could be doing, all these follow-ups. You could do all of that stuff. If you're a closer, you could be studying all the material, stuff like that. But if you don't start with the fact that you are worthy of your goal, so say it's 10K a month. If you don't see yourself as a 10K a month earner in the first place, and then let your actions follow through, then you're never gonna get there. Like it's gonna be extremely difficult. That's why you spin your wheels, is because you see yourself as anything that is incongruent to your goal. The way to get around this is very simple. You just start thinking of yourself as a 10K a month type earner, right? Start thinking of yourself as a 10K a month type earner, and then the rest will follow through. Your actions will follow through, because now your goals are congruent to your self-image, or your self-image is congruent to your goals. It lines up. It actually makes sense now, right? Because how are you gonna try and earn 10K a month if you just see yourself as a 1 to 2K a month earner, right? It's impossible. Anything that is incongruent, so again, going back to that example, doesn't matter how hard you work, your actions, your thoughts, everything, literally everything, your thoughts, your beliefs, everything that you do up here and externally is not gonna match up to your goal, right? It's always gonna match up to how you see yourself in the current moment. Okay guys, so the 5th point, which is gonna show you how to actually manipulate your self-image and start to change it. And I might make a part 2 on this, just let me know. Because this is, again, as I said, this is all from 1 to 2 chapters. So that's how crazy this can get. In order to form a new self-image, there needs to be some truth grounded in it. So going back to the 1 to 2K versus 10K a month earner, yes, think of yourself as a 10K a month earner. But the way this is only gonna work is if you ground yourself in some truth. If you find a way, for some reason, if you find a way to prove that you are a 10K a month earner. And bear with me guys, this sounds impossible because you're not there yet, but things like character traits. Yeah, things like character traits. So what would things like character traits. What would a 10K a month earner be doing? What sort of character traits would they have that I have already? So that's a degree of truth into it. That actually, it's like if you're writing an essay, you have to make a point and then give evidence. And this is the evidence. You need to find a way to give yourself some evidence that it is true. So some character traits that these 10K a month earners adopt. What do I adopt as well? What's some past experiences? So let's say before you started appointment setting, you and your homie ran up a little side business that made 20K a month in the summer, not 20K a month, but 20K in the summer, right? That is proof. That's proof that you can make 10K again. You made 20K and you can make 10K again, right? It's just per month. So that's proof. character traits, past experiences are the main two, right? So you may need to sit down and get creative as to, okay, how can I blend in some truth, some sort of proof into my new self-image, right? And then just do that consistently, and then the magic will start happening, essentially, right? I don't know how else to explain it. I think you need to read the book. This is just a little summary, and yeah, I'm reading it right now, super good, and you should read it too. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, a little bit of a different one, make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you do want to become a high ticket setter or a closer by this summer too, because I know it's exam season, and this summer, these next few weeks, you're gonna have to grind it out, and you don't want to sit around doing nothing. If you want to make the most of this summer, you want to get placed in a position, you want to start earning, the big bucks, 5-10K a month as an appointment setter or high ticket closer, and you just need help figuring out how to do so, book a call in the description using the link below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.